Salutations, everybody. It is Matty here today, sitting down to talk about Starfield. Look at that. I told you all, calm before the storm. Give it time, let Bethesda cook. There's tons of trailers on the way, and here we have 3 in one single day. Can't say I saw that one coming. No, they're not full-on gameplay trailers, but still they provide important context, and they're kind of in the spirit of the Fallout 4 special trailers, where they're more animated and depict particular characters in the world that can give us a little more of a glimpse into the universe that is Starfield. So naturally, in a very Matty move, I've broken them all down. We're going to go through all 3 of them here today and just share some thoughts. We have faction information, and we also have details on new NPCs that we'll likely meet in the base game. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, if you are new here, you are into Starfield news, information, trailer breakdowns, all that stuff, you're in the right place. Consider subscribing. Not much longer now. We're approaching that 1 month away wait, which is crazy to think about. I say it every time. It's crazy, it's crazy, it's crazy. But when you've been tracking this game since it was just a trademark to see what it's become now, it's absolutely incredible. So with that, let's begin with just a general overview of the trailers themselves. First of all, absolutely beautiful animation work here. I mean, right away I saw these and thought, oh, I wanted Cyberpunk Edge Runners style anime, but for Starfield. I didn't know I'd want this. I didn't know if it would fit. And certainly as someone who loves anime, I mean, like, I never really thought I'd see my 2 worlds collide here with BGS and anime, but here they have it. And not only that, what's special about these trailers to me is that they tell you a lot without any voice work, which I thought was really cool, which is why I said it kind of evokes that spirit of the special trailers where you have a voiceless character, but they're showing off the spirit of the game, the tone of the game, components of the game, all in this very stylized manner. So I give a big thumbs up to these trailers. Now, one bit of speculation I saw in a couple of videos that appeared in my sub box, as well as some tweets, some Reddit posts, is that these are life paths that the main character will be taking. This is not the case just based off what we've seen from the recent Starfield Direct. We clearly see the intro to the game and how you wake up with some type of interesting artifact that is likely connected to bringing you into Constellation and investigating what's out there. But also, as we're going to go through in this video, there are descriptions for these trailers that indicate specific characters. So this isn't some type of life path thing where you may start the game in different planets, just so you don't get anything twisted there. These 3 trailers go across the 3 major cities that we've heard about plenty throughout our Starfield marketing cycle, which is Oculus City, New Atlantis, and Neon, the pleasure city. So a lot of folks are asking, what about other cities? What does this mean for other towns? And what I'm starting to think of with all of the planets that we have in Starfield is that I think if you were to arrive on a planet, almost like Mass Effect, and there's just one location there worth exploring, I'm okay with that. And I could see it kind of becoming almost a one-off style of approach where you'd show up like in Fallout 3, you'd find Andale, and you'd find this very unique type of civilization that's a bunch of cannibals, or you'd find the family from Fallout 3, which are people who've convinced themselves they're vampires effectively, and so on and so forth. I think we're going to see a lot of that in Starfield, where these are the 3 major pieces that they're kind of building everything around. And also, you'll hear the soundtrack in these trailers, and it's sounding like an Einon Zur classic. So those are just some general thoughts on the trailers. Now it's time to break them all down. We're going to go one by one. We're going to start off with the Where Hope Is Built trailer. This one is focused on Oculus City. And like I said, we're going to go through the trailer description first, just so you all know exactly what we're looking at here. It's important context for some pieces that we can break down. So this one is described as Vanna, an Oculus City orphan of the famous colony wars, desperately wants to explore the stars, and only one thing stands in her way: a broken ship. Her search for repair parts leads her throughout the city and into some unexpected danger as she closes in on her dream. So we're going to see at the beginning of the trailer Vanna eyeing down a rusted ship that needs a part to get running again. It does show Vanna's parents, which then leads to Vanna reflecting upon her parents when seeing a statue that I believe is commemorating the colony wars. Now, first thing we see here are her parents clearly dying in battle during the colony wars, but I gotta address the potential gameplay mechanic people think they're seeing here, which is, oh, are there going to be mech suits in Starfield that you can control? I feel like this is something Bethesda would have shown. I've sort of shifted gears into that mindset. Like, if it could be a really good selling point, some people are talking about underwater combat, now here with mech suits. I feel like Bethesda would have shown that because it would have been a just one more thing. But Todd Howard also did go on record, and other BGS devs have gone on record of saying, well, there's plenty we haven't shown you yet. So it's possible, but I'm not of the mindset that this is going to be something we pilot around, especially since Todd said no vehicles. I feel like this would fall into that category. To me, when I saw these mech suits, I think it may be an enemy type or a boss. That may be plausible, but I don't think it's something we're going to pilot around. However, in the terms of lore, this is our first glimpse into the Colony Wars beyond a trailer that we got from October of 2021 where Emil Pagliarulo sat down to talk about the settled systems, which, yes, all of these trailers are built around the settled systems. So the Colony Wars, for those who don't know, took place 20 years before the start of the game between the United Colonies and the Freestar Collective, where they battled it out, and it was a bloody battle at that, if you couldn't tell by the trailer. Now there's been an uneasy peace settled since, and so naturally you'd see someone like Vanna who holds memories of that time and is clearly very upset about it. So as the trailer wraps up, she helps an older man out who's being held at gunpoint. He offers her money after saving her, but she declines it and instead takes the missing piece of her spaceship to repair it and head out to the stars. So I feel like this is going to be a major character we meet in either Oculus City, or maybe since she goes out to the stars, maybe we'll find her out in that system at some point in time. But let's move on to what is my personal favorite trailer of the three. That's called The Hand That Feeds. This is based around Neon, which is the place that I'm really looking the most forward to exploring. It's that and New Atlantis I really go back and forth on. But the description for this trailer is two neon street rats, Ada and Harper, are partners in crime, eking out a living, stealing from the wealthy partygoers that come to the Pleasure City to let loose. When Ada is forced into a moral dilemma, she quickly catches the attention of the all-seeing Ryujin Industries, bringing her an exciting new opportunity, but at what cost? So this is basically Starfield Cyberpunk. That is what this is, and that's the vibe I got, especially when you see that one shot of both these characters sort of sitting at the edge of the pier, looking out to the edge of the planet. It reminded me of that one shot of David and Lucy sitting on the moon, staring at Earth. I just got that vibe immediately, and I think it's intentional. There's so much about this trailer that reminds me of Cyberpunk, and I love Cyberpunk, unashamedly so. So, continuing on, you see two thieves here selling stolen goods to acquire a gun. And since they're stealing from wealthy partygoers, maybe they're kind of like Robin Hood type characters, if you will. But then we see a silver-haired character, which I imagine is Ada, contemplating what we imagine is an offer she received from Ryujin Industries, where eventually they find a member of Ryujin Industries based off the logo that is on their clothes. And she contemplates that offer once more before stealing the gun out of, I imagine, Harper's hands and firing a round off, scaring him away, and then eventually signing up to Ryujin Industries. This is reminding me of, continuing on with Cyberpunk examples, Starfield's Arasaka, maybe even Shinra Corp. Like, I just get those types of vibes with this corporation here, this kind of Yakuza-like hitman company. And of course, with the peddling of drugs here in Neon, it makes sense you'd almost have some type of crime-based faction that's operating as an industrials company. I think that's a pretty cool idea. And also, after doing a little digging, I realized that there's a lot of hidden meaning behind some of the names that we see in these trailers, especially this next one we're going to get into. But for those who don't know, Ryujin means dragon god. So that's a little bit of context to this little faction here that I imagine will be able to join. We do see Ryujin pretty extensively in the Starfield Direct. So I feel like this, again, is just indicating that we can do what Ada did here, and we'll likely meet Ada and Harper. And I think these trailers are good to take in because they're likely context to what I would think are side quests or planet-based storylines that you can get involved in. I would be very surprised if these characters just never showed up again. But the last trailer we got is called Supra et Ultra, which is Latin for above and beyond. So again, those kind of hidden meanings tucked in there. This one's focused around New Atlantis, the city we've definitely seen the most of, probably because, according to Bethesda, this is the biggest city that they've ever made. And it's described as, in the city of New Atlantis, capital of the United Colonies, Kent, a courier pilot, aspires to live in the most desirable part of the settled systems. After joining the UC Vanguard and working his way up to the capital's elite, Kent quickly realizes the adventures waiting for him off-planet are what he truly longed for. a Bethesda game with a courier. I like that. And I think this is the trailer that most people saw from what I've seen across the board. This is the one with the most views. And so I feel like a lot of people saw this courier and went, oh, this has to be a life path. But again, this is Kent, who, again, is a courier visiting New Atlantis. Upon seeing a little advertisement for Vanguard, his interest is piqued and he heads to a building labeled MAST, or M-A-S-T. But you'll notice all these flags lining the entryway. And this may look familiar to eagle-eyed viewers who did the deep dive over on the Starfield Direct, where you do see this. So now we know within this area is where you'd go to enlist with the Vanguard, where they sign an agreement that says you agree to perform necessary services for the United Colonies that could place you in serious danger, resulting in harm to your craft or yourself, up to and including death. And he naturally makes a ton of money doing so, as noted by his penthouse. Bethesda, if you're watching this, which I imagine you are, let us have a penthouse at some point. That'd be kind of cool. I know you're going to say, oh, the settlement building. Well, let me buy a penthouse and stay within New Atlantis. That would be more baller to someone like me who doesn't really care about building stuff than building my own penthouse and pretending like I'm living in an abundance of riches with people I've invited to the planet, because otherwise it'd be empty, right? So anyway, I'm going off track here. This to me is important to note because this isn't the first time that we've seen the Vanguard. The Vanguard also appeared during the Starfield Direct, where you were asked if you wanted to join. So again, I think this is another faction that you can sign up with. So we're seeing here at least, I think, 2 factions that you can join up with. Ryujin was a little bit more mysterious. That's the most context we've got on them thus far. But when it came to Vanguard, it was pretty clear we'd be able to join since we were already getting invited into that. And so this excites me a lot because, as I've said in other videos, but in case you don't know, the factions are the favorite part for me of any BGS game. Especially, it's why I'm an Elder Scrolls fan. The faction storylines to me matter way more than the lore. It matters way more to me than the main storylines. I just really, really appreciate the faction work. I think it's where the best stories lie for any BGS game. And so seeing some really cool ones like Ryujin Industries, again, just absolutely awesome having a Starfield equivalent of Arasaka. I wonder if you'll be able to play as like a hitman. And I like that there's more than one, it seems, evil-doing faction, right? We saw the Crimson Fleet. We saw the Red Mile. I mean, we're seeing now Ryujin seems very devious. I like that there's a lot of villain groups here. It's something that I don't see a lot of people talking about. And I think it's important to note because, look, in Fallout 4, you kind of just had the Raiders and that was it. So to me, it's a tremendous leap to see not only the obviously morally conflicted, maybe more NCR type of faction in the United Colonies Vanguard, but then you get something like the Freestar Collective, which is about independence. So there's a lot of, I'd say, moral nuance to these groups from the outside looking in. And I'm very excited to get involved in all their storylines because that's what it says to me. More factions, more storylines. So that's my breakdown of everything I saw in these trailers. It's not rich with details, but I think there's a lot to take away from in the terms of the world and what they're building here with Starfield. So I'm really looking forward to seeing your thoughts down below on what I've put together here. And of course, if you've picked up any other details, do fire away. And with that, take excellent care of yourselves, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below. And a big thank you to all the patrons, all the members who continue to support the hell out of the content here. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.